Created in a guy's garage in the shadow of Mercedes comes the craziest band of Germans ever. Sorry, Rammstein. They're the originators of the badass luxury car and the benchmark to which all sports sedans are measured. They started as underdogs who would later go on to dominate the road and the track. This is everything you need to know to get up to speed on AMG. The AMG story begins in the mid-60s when Mercedes engineers Hans Werner Aufrecht and Erhard Melcher started working on a race engine with the development department at Daimler Benz. This race motor would be used in the Mercedes 300 SE sedan, which at the time was the fastest production car in Germany. But at the track, it was a different story. The stock power of 170 horses was crummy. Oh, James, don't you think you're being a little harsh? No. It was downright crummy. So Melcher fitted the fuel injection system from a 300 SL Gullwing onto the SE's engine, which boosted output to 238 horsepower. Before Aufrecht and Melcher, how many times did you put their names in there? But before they had a chance to show off the new engine, Daimler-Benz shut down the race team. Well, Scheiße, what do we do now? I have a plan. Put the engine under your shirt and meet me at my house. Under my shirt? Yeah. Okay. I'm not positive that's exactly how it happened, but they did work on the engine in their spare time. Back to the story. They put the motor in a 300 SE sedan and entered it in the German Touring Car Championship. They didn't have any support from Mercedes. In fact, they weren't even supposed to be working on the car. But the risk paid off because their secret race car went on to win 10 races. The next year, Werner left Mercedes. What good was working for a company that wouldn't let him express himself with his art? He asked Erhard to go with him, and Erhard was like, jawohl, dude. Jawohl, a million times jawohl. Their names were Aufrecht and Melcher, and they were working at Aufrecht's house in Grossespach, AMG. Their goal was to use what they learned at the track to make road cars faster. And they weren't salty about leaving Mercedes. As far as they were concerned, Mercedes were still the best. AMG's first big project was to turn another 300 SE sedan into a race car. But this one was different. This one was big. The 300 SEL was Merck's flagship luxury model, powered by an enormous 6.3-liter V8 engine, powerful enough to make the 300 SEL the fastest sedan in the world. But the SEL was over 16 feet long and weighed 3,800 pounds. That's like the same size as my dad. AMG tore the SEL's engine apart and replaced everything inside. Pistons, rockers, a new camshaft. The new motor now had a displacement of 6.8 liters and it made 428 horsepower. But the motor wasn't the only thing they changed. They replaced the doors with ones made from aluminum to increase grip. They widened the wheel track, and to keep the giant tires from poking out, they gave it fender flares. The 300 SEL, or Red Pig, made its debut at the 1971 24 Hours of Spa in Belgium, and it blew people's mind. People couldn't believe it. This was a car your divorced uncle would drive, and it's destroying the real sports cars. It won its class and finished second overall. AMG had proven they could win without the support from Mercedes. After the victory, AMG had some serious cred, so everyone wanted them to modify their Mercedes. So they did. Through the 70s, AMG became the go-to guys if you wanted a badass Merc. And by the 80s, nobody in the world had a better reputation than AMG. But in 1986, AMG would drop a bomb on the automotive scene in the form of the most brutal sedan ever devised. Like the Red Pig before it, AMG took a 300 SE sedan, pulled out that puny 6-cylinder engine, and installed a heavily modified V8. They also tweaked the body to be more aerodynamic and aggressive. They installed bigger brakes and gave it some super cool looking 5-spokes. The result was a sedan so menacing, so evil, that Darth Vader himself would insist that someone else take the wheel. One auto journalist called AMG's new car about as subtle as a hammer. It turns out the German word for hammer is hammer, and AMG thought, I like the sound of that.
Hammer time.
And the rest is history. The AMG Hammer did 0 to 60 in 5 seconds and had a top speed of 178 miles an hour. The interior was super nice. It was quiet. And when driving over decent roads, the ride was as smooth as I am. To this day, the Hammer is one of AMG's crowning achievements. After the Hammer's huge success, Mercedes was like, all right, we should do something before AMG makes us all look really, really foolish. So they worked out a contract with the former employees so Mercedes could sell AMG cars at their dealerships around the world. The relationship wasn't salty, obviously, but Mercedes figured if someone was going to sell badass Benzes, it might as well be Benz. But Mercedes wasn't the only partnership that AMG would make. The Mitsubishi Galant was a 4-door sedan with a 4-cylinder and was even offered in all-wheel drive. It was basically the Evo before the Evo. Mitsubishi hit up AMG to have them do some work on the Galant, and AMG was like, all right, well, we usually do V8 stuff, but this could be fun. The Galant AMG was front-wheel drive, and unlike the Evo, naturally aspirated, but it had the same motor, the 4G63. And AMG tuned it to redline at 8 grand. They also gave the Galant the standard AMG treatment with body tweaks and new wheels. Only 500 were ever made, and all of them were sold in Japan, so f us. Back in Germany, the first car developed in the new Mercedes-AMG contract partnership was the C36 AMG. This new sedan was aimed squarely at the BMW M3 and even used a straight-six engine like its Bavarian counterpart. In 1998, the C36 got an upgrade in the C43, which returned to AMG's V8 roots. For their entire history, every single one of AMG's V8 engines has been hand-built. Each of the 250 people currently working at the AMG engine plant has their own set of tools, and each craftsman builds one engine at a time from start to finish. They're so good at it that it only takes them about 3 hours to complete an engine.
My fingers hurt.
After each engine is built, the final step is placing an individualized placard on the intake with the engine builder's signature. They sign their work because they're proud of it. In 1999, Mercedes bought a majority interest in AMG, which means they were still free to do whatever they wanted as long as it was only on Mercedes Benz models. One of the first official cars AMG would build for Mercedes was another race car for the road, the CLK GTR. The race version was developed in 1997 for the FIA's GT Championship, and the rules required that 25 road legal cars had to be built. But after 2 years, the series was canceled and AMG decided to build the cars anyway. The CLK GTR was not powered by a V8 like AMG's previous cars, but a 6.9 liter, 69, V12 capable of 604 horsepower and a top speed of 214 miles per hour. After the car ended production, Mercedes would keep building the V12 for Pagani, who used it in their Zonda and Huayra supercars. Only one man at AMG is certified to build it. His workspace is sectioned off from everybody else. They make him work in a little room by himself. This is real. He must be going insane. With the CLK GTR, Hammer, and Red Pig under their belt, AMG had a reputation for building cars that had a knack for standing out. But what if you wanted something to blend in? The 2005 E55 AMG wagon was the car for you. It was the ultimate sleeper. From the outside, it looked like your typical suburban kid hauler. The only clues being the AMG and compressor badges. But if you looked under the hood, you'd find a hand-built 5.4 liter supercharged V8. Through all of AMG's life, they've stayed true to their philosophy of building performance models of any Mercedes. Unlike BMW's M division, who only focus on cars with lateral agility, like me. What this means is that there are a ton of AMG versions of cars you wouldn't expect, like the R63, a V8 powered minivan with over 500 horsepower, and the G65, a G-Wagon with a bi-turbo V12. There's even an A45 AMG, a hatchback with 355 horsepower and all-wheel drive. But the craziest AMG of them all, by far, the G63 AMG 6x6. This six-wheeled behemoth weighs in at over 9,000 pounds and rides on 37-inch off-road tires. It was originally developed for the Australian military, but some Mercedes VIPs saw it in action and said, hey, give that thing a nice interior and we'll buy some. The 6x6 can go pretty much anywhere and over anything. It, of course, has six-wheel drive and can inflate and deflate its tires depending on conditions. I want one. So, what's next for AMG? In the spirit of the Red Pig and the CLK GTR, AMG is once again putting everything they've learned at the track into one car, the Mercedes AMG Project One. Mercedes has won a Formula One championship 4 times in a row, and to celebrate, they're building an F1 car for the street. Mercedes says the Project One will use a drivetrain and hybrid system, which Mercedes claims will make 1,000 horsepower. And the steering wheel isn't even a wheel, it's a rectangle because it's a race car. From modest beginnings building engines out of a garage in Germany to designing the most incredible hypercar ever, the AMG story is one of precision, perseverance, and building absolute sledgehammers out of sophisticated sedans. Fucking sick. That's everything you need to know to get up to speed on AMG. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button. Check out AMG's arch rival, the M division, in this video on M3s. You want to know what bi-turbo means? Watch this episode of Science Garage on turbos. If you want to buy some merch, go to shop.donut.media. Follow me on Instagram @JamesPumphrey. Follow Donut